Sounds good. Okay, good evening. My name's Dan Pan. I'm founder for Haddee Education, and today we are provide information session regarding how to choose colleges and majors. And so first, welcome class of 2030. I think many of you are part of class 2030 and you have multiple offers, and that's why you're here with us tonight for this special hour. And a little bit of background. Some of you, the parents may know about me, and I'm founder for Haddee Education. You can Google Haddee Education. We have two centers, one in San Diego and one in Berkeley. Right now, I live right next to UC Berkeley, and both my kids attended. Both of them graduate from Berkeley. I'm also a volunteer lead for Mandarin speaking WeChat groups for Berkeley parents. It's for fun, but we've been supporting Berkeley parents since 2021 for the past 5 years. The volunteer can only happen thanks to a lot of enrolled parent support, and we are helping students to make decisions, especially at this special time. As I always shared with parents and students, before April 1st, colleges choose you. After April 1st, you choose college. Okay, you choose college. Okay, so here we are. So this is the Google review, and this is my LinkedIn. You can LinkedIn me if you wanted to. Okay, no problem. And we do provide college counseling service along with research. We have a AI Foundation summer program at UC Berkeley, residential program, and also commuter programs. Really nice. It's coming up in July, late July. We also provide internships, small group classes, etc. Okay, one-on-one tutoring, test prep, and college counseling. Okay, so here we are. The main purpose of the discussion is about how we choose colleges and majors. So I have a few slides. Then I will open up for the for all of you to ask questions. You can type and or you can just turn on your mic and we can have a kind of face-to-face discussion. So first is this is a very special process because it's a major decision where you're a student, where you are going for college. First, for students, all of you have to spend the next 4 years. Assume most of you are attending four-year college, and some of you may be doing transfer. So you will spend next 4 years. So you want to stay a place that you really want to spend next 4 years. It's very important. Some of you, like my son, we were in San Diego. He would never attend UC San Diego. It's like too close. He would rather go to a school, on the paper, maybe lower ranking than UC San Diego than just going to like a few miles next to the house. Okay, there's some special preference, right? So I think it is a student. So even though the parents paying the money, actually the role is student led. So I make it really, really clear. It's a student led, parent supported process. Okay. Parents can voice your opinion, but I will share with you sometimes the more we voice opinion, the more the less students will listen to us, especially your own kids. Okay. So first, I want to say if you allow your student to apply, allow them to attend. So I know many of you are in California. Some of you may be calling from Michigan. Some of you may be calling from Arizona or Texas. All of the states, many states have really good state program. And first, I want to say you don't have to go to quote unquote very, very elite college to be successful. Okay. However, when you apply for college, right, your parents allow you to apply for private college. So unless it's your you guys discuss it has to be really depend on financial aid. If the school does not offer you financial aid, you cannot attend for private schools or out of school. That's a different discussion. If the financial aid were not in the picture, they allow you to attend, allow you to apply. I would tell them here. Many parents say allow you to attend. Okay, so that should get the money thing out of the way. Okay. The second thing is parents can go to the WeChat groups, Reddit, Facebook groups, and talking to other parents. You can get as much information you want to provide to the kids, but at the end, the kids need to take initiative, right? So kids need to research about, say, UC, Purdue, U San Diego, UC Berkeley. It is really not just parents doing all the work and then dump the kids. Here's the decision, and then if when the kid is not happy, they're not going to be happy, right? So I think it's some kids are turning 18, already 18. Some are turning 18. I would like we give the torch to them, let them make decision. It's very, very important. So now here's the anecdote. Like my son, older son, got into Tufts, great private school in Boston, University of Michigan, great out of state, right? And UC Berkeley. Okay, of course there are other UCs, but UC Berkeley was a good one that time. And so we visited all three schools, and he kept asking me, like, Mom, which one do you want me to go? I don't want to say it because I allowed him to apply, allow him to attend. Of course, from my heart, he was studying CS, right? I think Berkeley is no brainer, but the kid wasn't sure, right? So he went around. He went to Boston. He went to Michigan, and Michigan was great. Throw kind of a red carpet for him. And at the end, he made a decision because a lot of his friends were attending Berkeley. So, sometimes the school is hard here. He would say, "Oh man, I wish I went to Michigan." Then I'm like, "Okay, you made the decision, not me." Okay. Then he would say, "Oh, Mom, I saved you a lot of money." Well, I said, "You made the decision, not me. You could go if you wanted to. I will support you." Okay. So that's the attitude I would like the parents to discuss with the students. We already talked about the money, so I don't want to bring the money into the picture. Okay. Yeah. So bring them and give them online resources, give them, in-person resources if possible for them to make a decision, right? So the in-person visit to me is very, very important. There are two folds of importance. First, as a parent, you really don't have much time to spend with your kid anymore. Your kid will be gone. Even though, say, I will live in San Diego, if my son were going to UCSD, do you think I would see my kid every day? If I can see my kid every few months, that's already a blessing. When kids in college, they're very, very, very busy. Okay. My son here at UC Berkeley just graduated. We were living here since 2022, late 2022. Barely, barely, barely. I can count number of nights, maybe 2 or 3 nights he was spending time, spending the night with. He was living in the dorm. Okay. Yeah, I did see him a lot for some other reasons, but I just let you know that even though the college is right next to your house, the time you spend with your kids is going to be limited because they're growing up. They have their own life. So if your time allows, your finance allows, I would take the kid, you would accompany the kid and visit school and let him observe, let him come back and give you opinion. Just be a very good listener. Okay. And sometimes the more we give opinions, the more they go against. I already mentioned that. And now I'll give you some personal example. Okay. Yeah. So this is good. And the other thing is my son, very interesting. My son this year is also choosing school. You guys are choosing undergraduate. My son's choosing a PhD program. Okay. So he has 3 schools. They're all really good schools, So I can tell you what schools are: the Cornells, the CMUs, the UIC, right? The UIC people say, "Oh, I never heard about it," right? So you can Google which UIC is. It's a great school, but nobody really heard about it. So with all said, it's not UIUC. I said UIC. Okay. So he likes all 3 of them, right? So, and there are different reasons because he did undergraduate research at UIC, right? And the other 2 schools are really good. So I would joke with him. I said, you being kind of online dating, right? Remotely really know you never really went to CMU. Never, I mean, we visited Cornell a long time ago, right? So I said, oh, okay, go in-person dating, right? It's a joke. So right now everybody do online, right? And some people get catfished, right? So I said, go see the real date is, right? So we are actually flying to Cornell. Red eye, it's going to be a pain for red eye. And he will meet with professors and he will attend some PhD seminars and then he will come back and make a decision. April 15th is this decision date for PhD program and May 1st is a decision date for college, right? Kind of. Yeah, it is deposit date. I can say it's deposit date. You can always, you can change your mind after you give a deposit, especially your wait list lifted. It's okay, right? So, so how we do it? So the in person, but not everybody can afford the time and money to do in person. So I would like student, really student, okay? Because say if you are saying, I'm interested in math, I'm interested in bio, I'm interested in this, I think looking at the department faculty is really good. I think last year we have students debating between UCLA and the UC Berkeley. Very, very last minute, the student changed her mind. And I mentioned I had a private call with the student, it's our student, Haddee student, and I mentioned to the mom, I said, some students are very academic rigorous, like they really want to pursue advanced studies. I think looking at the faculty is very important. What those faculty professors have done, what research they have published, and for some, especially at Berkeley and Stanford, for starting up companies, especially CSAI area, like EE area, like what company startup they have started. So I think you can get a lot out of the online research, right? And also, um, this is also important, right? Some kids told me that they have allergy. They cannot be in a place very dry. So, they shouldn't apply from the day one. So some of the, location should be kind of ruled out from the application point of view, right? However, there's another key. We always teach students saying that if you do apply for that college, doesn't matter, it's a reach, very selective target, or kind of the safety. Um, every single school they accept you, you'll be happy to attend. Otherwise, don't apply. You'll be happy to attend. That's a rule as well, right? But you're not going to get accepted by all schools. So you have a few, maybe two or three, four, at most like 4 or 5, top, right? And then probably the location, you have to think about it. Some parents said, I really don't want the kids to go Midwest too far. Okay. Weather's too harsh, right? But that's you don't want the kid. Whether the kid want to be in the cold weather, that's really up to the kid. So I just came back from Pittsburgh, CMU visit. We have students in CMU, we have students in University of Pittsburgh. They're both really, really good schools, right? And I did ask both of them. They're all from California. I said, do you mind the cold weather? None of them mind, right? In the summer it's hot, right? So I just want to tell you for the parents who care about like the harsh weather, this and that, kids are sometimes are much more flexible. They more have adapt more adaptable than we old folks. Okay, so I wouldn't worry about it until the kids say I don't want to deal with snow, but that's a different issue, right? Okay. So then, one thing about talking about money, if you do get aid, but the aid is not enough, you can have the student deal with the financial aid and admission office and reach out, and maybe they can ask them whether they can give more, and maybe also talk to them like what is the maximum you can offer. I mean, if the money is an issue, I don't want the parents to get out of the retirement, withdraw, and sell the home they're living in to support, right? There needs to be a limit, right? So this is also, I mean, if parents have questions, we can talk about that a particular topic a little bit later. Okay, so let me finish the few slides. So I have a few, every year I do this sharing, but every year is a little bit different because things change, especially here in AI, like it's coming like tsunami, right? Things change. So first, I want to tell you, if I were choosing school, here is my own personal opinion. Even though we work with many, many great counselors, it's me giving the talk. It's my personal opinion. Okay. So my personal opinion is I would choose school first, major second. Okay. School first, major second, right? So I personally think the college itself matters more than a specific major you choose. You know why? A lot of kids change major. Okay. Pretty much everybody is accepted into an arts and science. At UC Berkeley, we call letters science. Cornell, we call it arts and science. And in Michigan, we call it literature something, science and arts, like LSA. UCLA has one name as well. We call it all arts and science. Big public school, the arts and science. Pretty much everybody go there. It's undecided. Undecided means not you are undecided. Is everybody can study whatever they want, unless there's certain major a couple years ago was computer science was capped. Other than that, it's you can meet the major the requirements of the college, and then you can choose your major. So don't think you're getting into a history major like, okay, you will be history. Now, maybe vice versa. Some kids get into bio and they want to study history, right? So I just want to tell you, we're in America where it's quite flexible. We have the best advanced education. Okay, in terms of the Nobel winners and the high-tech companies and research, etc., we still are very advanced in terms of the advanced education. So that advanced one factor is we're flexible. In China, I have to decide whether I do 文科理科 when I was in high school. Then, it's like set you get, accepted into a major. You could change, but it's very hard. You're getting uli. It's hard to change to something else. Okay. China may change right now. I'm not commenting on China, but US, we are very, very flexible. So, and also, and I can, you can GPT it. Here I'm not storing all the data. You can get all the data from GPT. But I think depending on what GPT model, I would say at least 50% of the kids change their major, change their mind. And my son did it. My younger son did it from computer science to math. I wouldn't say would change major, but double major, right? You can double major, you can triple major. Triple major is a little bit of work, and one major with a one minor. Okay, so what really truly counts is what truly counts is the overall quality of education, the professor you will meet, the environment you will grow up. 4 years, you are growing up, right? You are making the transition from being a kid to being adult, from dependent to being independent. And most really, really important, the friends you will make. Okay. That's really, really important because some of the friends, they're going to be at your wedding, at your retirement party, is the friends that you met at college. Because we're all equal. Nobody is more rich than the other. Nobody has bigger title as a VP as the other. So it's more pure, the friendship. At work, you can make really good friends, but I tell you, it's very, very hard because there's a lot of hierarchy, right? You could, and I'm not saying you can, but you really make your lifelong friends at college more than in high school. But high school kids sometimes a lot of kids are still growing up. They're I won't say maturity. Some kids' maturity is not there. Their maturity comes out in college, especially for a lot of boys, right? And then also, the other thing is, some school may put some cap. CS was before, maybe right now it's computer engineering or maybe it's EE or mechanical engineering. They more a high demand major, but if you don't get it, it's okay. I tell you, it's okay. It's not end of the world, okay? But if you really, really, really want to study mechanical engineering, and you said, that's the only thing I want to study, then I think you should focus on the college that get you to study mechanical engineer. Don't come Berkeley to study math and hoping you will become an ME major. Transferring between different colleges 学院, different colleges within a university sometimes can be challenging. And we can talk about that, okay? And the college experience and networking, it really will carry carry students forward for long term. So, and we can talk about college. College experience is not only about club, not only about fraternity going to parties, um, and sports, some kids sport, play sports, but college experience also about learning as well, that you will meet some great professors, you will take very interesting classes that you can't take somewhere else. So I want to talk about the college experience of the student I met at University of Pittsburgh, right? some to some of students, maybe the first time, like, oh, where is University of Pittsburgh? University of Pittsburgh is in Pittsburgh, right? It's one of the oldest public colleges, like established 1789 or something. Don't quote me the date. Okay, it's a very old public college in Pittsburgh, right? And it's a great school for medical school, actually. For undergraduates, getting more and more well known. So the kid is University of Pittsburgh, and then next door is CMU. The students was telling me, oh, I love Pitt. It's called, the nickname is PITT. I love Pitt because I can take this class, that class. He is taking Hebrew, and he's taking for next 4 years because he said this professor is really good. He can study with the same professor for all levels. So my son, he hasn't decided to go to PhD in CMU yet, possibly. His Chinese is really, really bad. Okay, so we met the student and the son together, and the students very nice. They give us a very nice tool and mentioned that, okay, CMU students, you can come to study Chinese at Pitt. Okay, so this is also type of college experience. It's not just the clubs, the going out, the weekend retreat. Okay, the fraternities and the sororities. So I just want to widen you more about the college experience than just the fun part of it. To him, study is the fun part as well. Okay, yeah. So and I think we should focus on finding the right school that fits you most rather than the ranking. I really want to throw the US news out of the door, and it's very toxic, very, very, very toxic, especially toxic for international students from mainland China, because they all this counseling companies like, okay, I can help you T5. I'm like, what's T5, right? Or T20, and if you're T20 for US news is I don't know, the rise of Notre Dame and maybe Vanderbilt. I don't know. I mean, you go on, you tell me, right? But is UCSD even worse than Vanderbilt? Is UCSD worse than Notre Dame? I'm not sure. Is UCSD worse than Rice? I'm really not sure. Okay, so the ranking is very toxic. Okay, and also, last thing about major. Okay, we talk about the university, we talk about the college, we talk about the college, we talk about the major. Taking a minor in different college, it's very possible. But if you coming in arts and science student, right, you get in physics, you like, what I really want to do is engineering. Can you get it transfer to college of engineering at UC Berkeley? Can you, if you're in arts and science in some other schools, can you transfer to college of engineering? Yes. Let me mute. Okay, mute all. Yes, it's possible, but I don't want to sound too promising. It's possible doesn't mean it's very easy. Yes, you can get it done. Um, However, it's not very, very high chance. Okay, yeah, we know students that coming one different college and going to College of Engineering. But if you come in College of Engineering, you want to transfer to LNS, it's a little bit easier. Okay, why? Because a lot of people want, there's not many spots in College of Engineering. Okay, so um, yes, you can get it done. You can go there. I always encourage students to go to the College of Engineering. Doesn't matter which university. You go there and you find out what's the requirements for you to get a degree there, and sit down with counselor to map out The problem is the course choice because for you to graduate from a certain college, say College of Engineering, you need to meet that requirements. And usually direct admit students get the first choice. That's the problem is that it's not like you can't do it. Of course, academically you can. It's you are not able to get the required course to meet that requirement early enough. So sometimes you can take it maybe by the time it's a third year. And most colleges like UC Berkeley, if you're undergraduate, you are allowed to stay here 4 years. Double major, you are sorry. So for double major, you're allowed to stay here 4.5 years, right? So that's also the timeline. And if you go to private school, say go to Cornell, Cornell is a very special school because it is a private school, but it is a public school. I just tell you, it is. People say, "Oh, what are you talking about? It's Ivy League. Why it's public? It is public. Three colleges in Cornell is public endowment, public land. New York State give to Cornell. So the degrees are the same, doesn't matter. But if you coming in, say in the life science in terms of the X school, right? And then you want to transfer, especially you're a New York student, you want to transfer to College of Engineering or Arts and Science. The tuition is completely different, right? So it's making it really even harder at Cornell to double major, one major from one college and one major from different college. Okay. So, but with all said, I'll talk about this. Yeah, the college first, then the major, right? So I think I kind of covered the overall picture. But the second thing I want to talk about is skill first, major second, right? I think the traditional thing, the thinkings we all hand out is what is major. To tell the truth, if you go to work, say if you're at work, mom and dad, you're at work for say 10 years, 20 years. So first, people don't really ask you, where did you go to college? Only when you drink a beer and happy hour, colleagues talk about it. Nobody gonna ask which college did you go? And rarely people will ask you, what is your major? What I'm not trying to downgrading the major and the college, but I just tell you, it's not as important as you think. What really important people look up to you is your skills, your capability, right? So I think undergraduate major is a label. It's really outside label. Yeah. But if you really need a label, I think the college name will label you more than the major. People don't care. I don't care you're a history major or not, really, or bio major. Why? Because other than PhD doesn't require special domain knowledge. Most advanced programs, even master programs, medical schools, law schools, MBAs, right? Or physician assistant, whatever, right? Nursing, whatever the advanced degree you need to get, if you do need to get, they really don't care about your undergraduate major. Is there a requirement for medical school? You must study bio? I know a doctor, a very good doctor, in the city, in San Francisco, very high up. He said, fourth year, was doing engineering at UCLA. The last year, he changed his mind to become a medical school. Okay? Doesn't matter. But for you to go to medical school, you need to take a class. I know, organic chemistry. There are certain course load you have to take on your transcripts that you have basic knowledge to attend medical school. Whether it's a chem, it's a bio, it's a history, poli-science, engineer, doesn't really matter. Okay, law school, I was at Qualcomm, high-tech company in San Diego. I worked with hundreds of lawyers. Because we're all IP, they're all IP lawyers. Okay, you know what? A lot of them were engineers. They're not history major or government major. Okay, so I want to be very sure to you guys, undergraduate major is more of label outside. Okay, so the students, you study whatever you want to study and then narrow down a little bit depending on what you do. Enjoy a good time in college. Okay, enjoy a good time is not about party. Make a fulfilling experience in college. Don't get too stressed out, right? And don't look other people too much. A lot of you are going to come into a top college and you will feel, oh my gosh, the other kids are so smart. Okay. We call it, there's a word called imposter syndrome. Okay. Anyway, you get it. Okay. Right. So the key is skill first. You think about what skills that you can gain and improve. You can improve through the 4 year college, right? Don't worry too much about GPA. People say, "Oh, go to PhD. GPA is most important." Tomorrow, welcome to come, and we have a why Berkeley, why not Berkeley program. You will meet 5 students, and you're gonna ask them, not me, and whether college GPA is important. Okay, I'll save that question to you. But don't flunk. Don't get like 2.0, okay? And you will not. If you're in this Zoom session, you really care. I don't think you will get 2.0, right? And don't think, oh, Berkeley's too hard or CMU is too hard that you're not going to survive. If you're accepted by Berkeley, and if it's a true application, it's not like somebody else wrote your essay. Somebody else take a test for you, right? If it's a true reflection of your own capability, be proud of yourself. Don't come in worry that you're not going to make it. If you're accepted, you are going to make it 100% sure, so long as the application is authentic and all of you have an authentic application. Okay, right? So the GPA, right? And then here's the thing. It's too much about AI, seriously. But there's a reason AI is changing our life, changing our work. A lot of works are being outdated. The first work is a couple years ago, very hot, computer science programmer, software developer, software engineer, whatever the name you call it. The entry level right now, the cloud coding is taking over a lot of work, right? So then people say, should I study CS? Should I not study CS? We can talk about that a little bit later during the thing. But I'm just saying the job, they're all outdating. So don't go after job, going after the skills. When you have a good fundamental skills and communication skills, you're able to reach out, you're able to challenge, question. Hey, I really don't understand. I will see. I'm hoping I will get some questions from students, right? A lot of time my Zoom with parents are pretty much silent, right? It's one-way talk. But here, I think there are a lot of students here. So ask questions and have a dialogue with your friends, with the professors, right? And get some experience into some projects you're truly interested, right? So those are sharpening your skills, right? And please don't pick a major based solely on what is hot right now. So here's a joke, okay? My son was studying computer science, okay? The reason he quit computer science is the reason that I'm not here discussing it, okay? But he's like looking back, oh, randomly now I'm not doing CS anymore because CS is outdated. I don't think CS is outdated, but it was just a joke. Things change very fast, right? So most important, critical thinking, challenging, able to ask questions. Even AI, you need to ask AI questions. If you don't know, ask questions, AI not going to give you anything, right? Being adaptable, right? And then, and I also mentioned about communication skills as well, right? Leadership, sometimes the skills is overrated. It's really people like, oh, I want to be a vice president. I want to be this president, blah, 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 founder, this and that. It's overrated because if you really have good leadership, it's leading by influence. You don't need a title to lead. Okay, very simple. You have a few of you doing good project. Some of you are not working hard, but you're working hard and you can kind of push this along. Even though you don't have a title, you're not a leader, you're still leading. So I want you to remember leading by influence, right? So those are the skills that will matter regardless of which field you enter. Okay, which field. And also the creativity and the judgment. So right now, why they need senior folks, they don't want a junior folks, because AI is doing all the junior job, and the senior folks have a good judgment, see, hey, whether the AI, whatever AI give me is reasonable or not, right? Sometimes I take more time to review what AI give me than I just type myself. Okay, yeah. So, and then When you apply for a job, it's really not major that can open the door. It's the skills you put on your resume that will. You can have a computer science major, but if you said, I want to apply, I did send a job about a few months ago. I think many, many people applied. I think rarely, it's a startup company. I don't think anyone got the job. Honestly, I tell you, because at the end, they are looking for an agent, some students who have a build agentic modeling experience. And unfortunately, the CMU, the Stanford, the Berkeley, a lot of kids are in school or just graduate. They don't have that experience. So that's the key. What you need, it's the relevant experience. So people say, hey, I'm still in school. How can I build relevant experience? You can build relevant experience. I tell you, you can. There are tons of opportunities, but that's a different topic. Okay. So skill first, major second. Okay. So let me see what's the next. And so here, I'm not going to be honest with you. Software skills are truly important. Um, when we were at University of Pittsburgh, we were talking to the student. I first met the student. The student want to go to MD, PhD. So we were focusing on more in the network with the, neuroscience professor, this and that. And then my son second day joined, and my son told the student, say, hey, you need to get a little bit of programming experience. You need to have stats experience because you are helping with neuroscience biologists, right? And the life scientists, they will need your help with kind of analyzing the data. I think he nailed it. And actually, a couple years ago, he was looking for a research project. The first professor who handed over a research project, RA position to him was a professor from University of California, San Francisco, UCSF. That's a top medical school. And I think the professor was MD and PhD, wanted his help to study Alzheimer's disease and sorting out the data. So if you think a software skills outdated, no, please don't take that. You still need a lot of very strong software skills to sort out data in business area, in public health area, in life science area, in chem area, and even in maybe music, so and advertising, right? So really, the software skills is not gonna becoming a software programming job. It's more a toolized. It's more kind of become a tool. So you need to master the tool, but you do need get into an industry experience or domain knowledge like the bio, the chems, the psychology, the sociology. They all you will heavily utilize your programming skills. So programming itself, it won't be very sorted. But if you can sort out a project, help with a project using your programming skills, this is very, very important. Okay. But with all said, the other skills that, we really didn't think like many, many years ago, I was at Qualcomm. It's still now, when you do chip, I think the hardware engineers are paid more than the software engineers. Okay. And so the hardware skills are coming back, but not necessarily mechanical engineering and material science, right? Especially mechanical engineering. But right now, because the robot is coming back again, so it's more about physical AI. And you can go on YouTube and listen to Jensen Huang's and Elon Musk's and whatever, those popular folks. Everybody's talking about physical AI. So because we do need a lot of work to be done. I don't think we are at a complacent time with it all human problems solved. Even though AI is here, I think we just see many problems that need to be solved. In California, we pay a lot of tax. Is that a problem or not, right? And fire, you're right. Why, my gosh, right? Do we need to build fireproof buildings, right? And election fraud, right? Everybody has election fraud and HOA, people are stealing money, right? So there are many, many problems that can solve. So long as you care about the problem, you will have a place. I'm not worried you can't find a job, right? So, but with all said, if you know how to deal with your hand, if you can can build things. You can roll the sleeves, build robots, and build the chips. Walk in the factory and just kind of nail down and getting work done, right? Use a screwdriver, whatever. So the combination of really is the combination, I should say, the combination of hardware and software is getting in high demand. The other things is made in America, right? So we lost all the manufacturing jobs to China for many, many years, 3, 4 decades since China entered WTO. Now we want to get the jobs back. So I'm going to Arizona next week, right after Cornell. I'm flying to Arizona to give 3 talks, right? There's TSMC. They're building 3 foundries, right? So I have a friend in Tesla. I really want to go to Austin to walk through the gig factory, but you building a terafab, right? So if you go to Nevada, right, they're building some other, battery factory, right? We all said many factories are being built, but they're not sitting in the office building of what's called the Salesforce building, the beautiful building in San Francisco looking at the water, right? So if you are still thinking the job is sitting in the office, you can make 150,000, 300K, that day for entry level, is kind of over. Yeah. Still maybe quant trading, maybe last couple of years, but we, may have a student, we talk, right, in Wall Street and my son, actually, a good friend of my son, he's doing option trading, right? Quant trading said, maybe one day AI will take over. But you know what the stock market is doing right now? Going crazy up and down. 60, 70, 80% are being done by AI, honestly, I tell you, right? So we all said, yeah, hardware skills. So think about that for students who really want to study engineering. Think about that, okay? And so I will have to show you our UC Berkeley summer program, right? So even the students are entering colleges, right? You say, okay, my job is done. But if you want to get ahead with AI, machine learning, hardware, and software, welcome to our Berkeley summer program, right? So we have this a 2 week residential program. So we have 2 seniors, and they did really well. One UC Berkeley, one UC San Diego engineer. They did really good job. Of course, this is just one activity, right? But if people ask, like, what the students, their results, I only have 2 who apply for college. We had 15 students. Many students are younger. There are some students who were in college enrolled. So if you want to spend 2 weeks at UC Berkeley, or you have younger siblings want to stay and learn about hardware and software, we will really teach you, we'll grill you, we'll making sure you are challenged. Those are going to be good experience. And you can use this. One student said, with a group of students say, I'm using AI. I use AI to predict public disease. One student said, I'm doing sports prediction. One student said, a group of students say, hey, I'm doing hardware detection, password. And some other students are doing music detection. Doesn't matter. You can use AI. It's a tool. Learn the tool and apply to the area that you are interested. Okay. So this is a 2 week summer program, but we do have another program for college students, and it's an 8 week. Oh my gosh. And you will be in our office at Berkeley, not UC Berkeley, right next to UC Berkeley. The AI summer program, you stay in the UC Berkeley dorm. This is not providing room and board, but it's an internship for upper division kids, rising the seniors, mainly college students and graduate students. You work together. The robots, software and hardware, you develop patents, we'll submit patents, and you will also write a piece of paper, okay? Research is very, very important. Don't think like, okay, I don't want to go to graduate school. I don't want to do research, okay? Right now, the research has the heaviest weight for you to get a job, a very good weight for you to get into college, a good weight, okay? I don't want to, drive parents' anxiety that you have to have it, not necessary, but it's a very good activity. Why? Because research is public. Research is public information. My son was doing at UC Berkeley, was doing computer science, and he did a Berkeley artificial lab, a bear lab. He published full paper during the summer and a little bit over the fall before he quit, right? So he was doing robots with a very, 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 very famous professor. Of course, he never really saw the professor. He was guided by a postdoc, right? And then the Tesla came, saw his paper. TikTok came, other company came, all want to interview him, all want to give him a job. just because it's research. So don't think if you want to get a job, you might, internship is also, very, very important, right? But if something can get you paper published is really good. Before, there are people who faking the research. They never really did. And they said, now you can't fake it anymore because Caltech said, I'm going to have AI interview you. You cannot fake it. So many other colleges can follow through. So it can be less fake, right? So which is good, right? Some is like, I'm going to use money to buy a paper. Now you can't do that. At the end, if you make to Tesla the first round asynchronous and blah blah blah, they will pay you to come to their office. Palo Austin, they will drill you in front of you and say what problem you solve. You have to whiteboard. So you really have to know your stuff, right? So that's the value of research for high school students and also for college students. Okay. So enough about this hardware. And then I have one more slide. I love talking, but so excuse me. Okay. So, and so here's the thing, right? Here's the general thing, big city, small city, I think those things you can GPT it. I don't need to spend a lot of time, but it's really the student have to think about it. At one point, my son really want to go to UC Santa Barbara because he got into College of Creative Science. It's a really, really, really good college. Some students quit Berkeley and go into UC Santa Barbara. Okay. But when he got there, he said, oh, okay, it's a country club like CCA. It's a high school that he attend. Like, it's not like a big buildings. It's more like very sprawl. And he was more attracted to the East Coast type of building. And which UC has more East Coast is UC Berkeley, and as close as to East Coast because we have a lot of trees and a little bit of rolling hills, right? So he fell in love more about the environment here. At one point, and his friends, both of them, they quit Berkeley. They declined Berkeley. They went to UCSB. They all got into really good PhD program. One got into UCLA, finished 3 years. The other one is studying in Chicago. Okay, so I'm telling you, you don't have to go to the big name to go pursue advanced studies. So tomorrow we have three PhD students, and one of them is community college transfer. Okay, so you will meet him and find out how he got into UC Berkeley PhD program. Okay, only 5 this year for mathematics. Out of the 5, one is community college transfer from UC Berkeley. And the other one is from the school you never heard about it called Alabama State. Okay, so my son was visiting CMU. CMU's admitting student from MSU, Michigan State. Okay, so again, it is how you make out of the college. It's not the label. It's you that make that college, whether it's worthwhile experience, okay, or not. So that's, I think I emphasize enough. Also, some kids said, oh, I have Chinese stomach. I have Indian stomach. Okay. I just love ethnic food. Well, then you don't go to Pittsburgh. Don't go to CMU. CMU barely has Chinese food around, even though when I was there short 3 days, 4 days, I went to 2 or 3 Chinese restaurants because I was taking the students like, okay, now you're tired of dorm room. Let's go to Chinese food. Okay. So the ethnic food, right? And also fraternity and sororities, right? Some parents said, oh, I don't want you to get closer to fraternities. That's dangerous, right? But some kids, I met a student from Texas a few years ago. And when my son, younger one, got admitted 2021, we arranged to meet in person during school visit. That was during COVID. I visited and I took the kid out because the kid was this, I call everybody a kid or the student now. He was helping us with the first why Berkeley, why not Berkeley, 2021. And he gave a beautiful talk. So I treated him out. We were having lunch at Thai food. And I asked him, what is your regret? He graduated 3 years at Berkeley. He said his only regret, he wished he was part of fraternity. Okay? So if you want to experience fraternity, which is very American college, don't go to CMU. CMU shut down fraternity. My understanding, I need to verify, but my son told me he was meeting with some undergraduate students and telling me that they don't have parties. Okay, so if you want to party on weekends, it's going to be hard. Okay, right? And then also, you want a very large research. A lot of good colleges, they are really, really good. The rankings driven by their graduate school. It's not driven by the undergraduate school. You will get a much better undergraduate learning a great relationship with professor at a small liberal arts college. I tell you from bottom of my heart. Okay. It's not the Harvard, the Cornell, the Berkeley's. Those are research college. Okay. When I was at Cornell many, many years ago, my lecturer, econ, because I was an econ major, got let go because she did not publish enough. It's publish or perish. She was a perfect, the best teacher, econ for macro econ, micro econ, I forgot the best one. She can't stay there because she did not publish. So she had to work at Cornell Dining. And I was shocked when I saw her at the dining. I said, why do you have to take this job? Dining. She said, I have two kids. And as a Cornell staff, they get some tuition. I don't know that this right now policy, but not you don't have to be a faculty. They treat staff and faculty the same that get a very good break on the Cornell tuition. So she had to really like work in the dining room. So this is really sad. This is how those big public research universities treats those lecturers, those really good teacher. They don't have really good. I mean, they don't value those teachers as much as they value the Nobel winners, the professors who publish a lot of paper. I'm here at Berkeley. On my street, there are many professors. Okay, my next door is an architect and design the CMU business school and MIT Sloan School, building, right? The next door is EECS professor. And we met the professor and, he public tell me, like my son's an undergraduate. So, I don't really talk too much to undergraduate, right? It's not his interest. He works with his PhDs, right? So all I'm trying to tell you, the name you're chasing after, those schools and UCLA's, UC Berkeley's, Michigan's, Cornell's, Harvard, they're big research college. If you want to go to undergraduate, really you good undergraduate experience, it's I would say Smith College, the Wesleyans, the Wesleys, the BCs, right? And that's it. Duke is pretty big. We have students at Duke and sharing the YouTube blog every day. And I think one of the videos I saw, some of the classes and a lot of students there as well, right? Okay. So then the other thing is whether you want to be a tech hub or somewhere else. Being here at Bay Area, it helps, right? Because there are a lot of conferences, right? If I want to go to AI conference, I can go there pretty much network every single week, right? It's expensive. You have to pay. It really helps. So if you really want to be in startup, you come to Bay Area. Berkeley's, San Jose State, Santa Clara, Stanford, you name it. There are other colleges as well, right? San Francisco State. I think being in the Bay Area is good if you really want to do a startup, right? And then the other parent said, if you want to, be in Wall Street, right? Where the money is, and go to New York City, right? NYU is perfect, making sense. And some students want to be in United Nations, and they go to NYU because that's where United Nations, right? Also, what the culture is, right? So I know not many students going to ask me about Notre Dame, right? But there are schools that has more strong religious background, right? So do you want to be in that school or you'll be, some other school? So that's also the culture thing as well, right? And also how close you want to get out, like go, and your parents say, no, 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 just be next to home. So that's the discussion, right? And also, what support system, right? Here, you take classes with data science students, right? I don't know how many, 800, 1,300? Don't quote me, right? And before was CS computer science, I don't know, maybe 1,500 students, right? But yes, even though the class is really big, it's very daunting. But they also have very good support system. They have TAs and the curriculum is really good. At UC Berkeley, I tell you, the curriculum really good. I know a lot of them are probably students in my group. The parents are choosing between UC Berkeley and many other schools, right? And also lifestyle, right? Um, and San Diego and Berkeley are two different schools. Education quality equally good, equally good. Some programs UCSD is, I think, is stronger, right? They have medical school, right? So, but do you want to be in La Jolla, kind of like, you know, uh, nice town, beach, right? It's not beach town, but you see ocean, you can go surf, right? But they don't have the sorority and the fraternity building. You have to join and you go to Mira Mesa because La Jolla is so expensive. Next to it, it's all the high rise or mid rise apartments, right? Other than the dorm on the campus, they're more kind of sprawl, right? And UC Berkeley, there are a lot of old buildings and the kids live together. So if you count Cal Day, well, you see many sorority and fraternity are going to open up, right? They're going to have a lot of music and the parties, and it's completely different vibe. So some kids they can they can they can deal with the girls wearing miniskirt on Cow Day. Just many of them, they can't deal with it. It's too open for them and too liberal for them. They want to go to more conservative schools. Then probably this is not your choice. If you see the girls in shorts, you can't deal with it. Then don't go to UCLA, USC, UC Berkeley. I'm not sure about UC San Diego. I think in nice weather, people, they just wear shorts, right? Skirts. So think about that, right? Right. Think about that, right? And then in terms of right wing and left wing, I'm not here to talk about politics. All colleges, they have right wing and left wing. Okay. So we have this guy, Berkeley is famous for being left, but I think one of the engineering building, Michael Graham. I just saw some notes the parents shared. He give a lot of money, and he was Trump advisor. He just gonna quit and go back to Morgan Stanley. He made a lot of money from Morgan and to support the IPO of SpaceX. So he's very, very, very right. But here you go, a very right person and giving money to UC Berkeley. UC Berkeley doesn't care. Well, I don't care whether you're a Trump friend, give me money, I'll build the building. So here you go. So don't associate that too much of a school being left or too right. Okay, so that's another. Okay, so I'm done. So I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm gonna open up for questions. Any questions? Okay, I think that's my last slide. Yeah. So any questions? So let me see. Okay. Yeah. And I see chat. Okay. Possible to transfer from to EC. Yeah. So this is we talk about. If it's you're talking about UC Berkeley, the College of Engineers is a little bit hard, but I don't want to say 100% not possible. It is possible. You need to come here and discuss with the advisor at the College of Engineering. People did it, but very few people. Okay, because simply I told you, choosing the lower division class outside that college, you don't get the priority. Okay, so any other questions? The country needs 10 times more engineer technicians, AI work, China industry. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. It's an AI war between those two countries in something, and it's also ideology war as well. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. That's it. I said I hopefully the students can ask questions. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah, JHU actually, it's JHU has really good engineering program as well. We just look it up. We have students got into JHU engineering. They're doing robots. I tell you why JHU engineering is very, very good. Don't look at all the rank. Don't look at the current thing. Thinking about the trend. The whole trend is a lot of trend the AI is going for bio life science, anti-aging. And I personally have an issue. I have a brittle bone disease. Okay. I broke bones 37 times. I have a lot of issue with walking. So I'm using robots to help me walk. But now that was helping my knee. Now my ankle has an issue. I can use robot to replace my ankle. So now I'm thinking I need young engineers to figure out. So if you go to JHU engineering and you can apply the engineering in the life science field, it's a there's no limit to what you can do. No limit. Also, JHU is a very, very strong research college. Okay. And ah, the pre-med we do, I have a video. I will share, get that video uh, send out. And you can go on Google, the Haddee Education. I will share you the channel. Last year, this time, just looking for April 2025, we invited a pre-med students who's already at a Duke Medical School and did undergraduate. Okay, so Berkeley doesn't have so-called pre-med, and Berkeley have pre-house. Pre-med is part of pre-house. If you want to go to medical school, it's completely fine to attend Berkeley. Do not think about this whole GPA deflation. It's too hard. I cannot get an A. I'm not 4.0 student. Completely no problem. Berkeley will offer a great environment for you to study and get being exposed to a variety of the fields. And you are going to be a very competitive pre-med students, even though you have a 3.8 or 3.6, 3.7, right? Compared to a school that give you all 4.0, you know. So with all said, it's completely fine. But I advise you to watch that video. Berkeley, UCSD, or Emory. Yeah, many kids go to Emory because they think Emory, the pre-med is very strong and they're very, very well supported. Um, it is really depends on your personal situation. You're out of state, is money an issue? Um, I think the three schools are all good. Or I can say it will have equally good chance. I don't think if you attend UCSD, your chance of being a doctor is less than Emory or Berkeley, or vice versa. All three programs will prepare you so long as the kids put efforts and work hard. Getting to medical school is very competitive now, really top medical school. So it's going to take a really good planning to think about it. And a lot of kids come in, want to do pre-med, and they'll say, hey, I can't do it. I want to drop. Okay. So I'm not going to go talk about how you prepare pre-med and watch that video. And well, we do support, students for medical school, but I usually don't take any student unless they fail the first time. Okay. We do support a lot of kids coming into second year the first time, and some kids try the third time. So that's how hard the pre-med. But if you want to be a doctor, I tell your students will be doctor. Yes, you will be. Okay, that's for sure. Okay. Let me see, go by one. Thank you for all your questions. We talk about the JHU, pre-med. Okay. Yeah, let's just go one by one. How bad is classes selection at UCB at CS for CS? Not bad, not bad. So if you coming in as undeclared, everybody coming into letter science is undeclared, right? Don't think you're a psychology major or you are math major. Everybody's undeclared. So, but I think the choice is direct admit. So the choice will be for the direct admit, which is ECS, CS, ECE, whatever the majors are. Berkeley comes up with new major pretty much every single year, and now new colleges, right? So if you're not directly admit to CS related, choosing the CS class, the priority will be a little bit later, but you will get it, no issue. Right now, I have not heard any student they want a double major CS, they have issue, no issue at all, right? Georgia Tech engineering is top of the top. Absolutely wonderful. So congratulations. Yeah. And right now, you know what is hot? It's aerospace engineering. Georgia is very, very hot. So if you want to do engineering and that's the school you got in, I would go to Georgia Tech. Great. And great city, Atlanta. And out of state is a little bit cheaper than the Michigans and, of course, than the private schools, right? We talk about UCSD, okay, jumped. Provides great college. Ah, that's a really, really good question, right? I know that some parents are UCLA parents, right? So, but overall, it has to be major by major, right? If you want to study the arts, you have studied filming, you have studied some other major, right? Medical, right? Pre-med, maybe UCLA. Overall, I personally think Berkeley is a stronger school. Okay, it's recorded, so don't be upset if you're UCLA parents. So overall, I think academically, Berkeley just attracts more academically rigorous students. And so the only really the thing I already mentioned in the slide and emphasize again, on the academic side, if whatever the major, whatever the area, you look for the, I mean, some majors are different, right? I said already UCLA is much stronger. You look at where professors are coming from, like where are they coming from? Where did they do? And what publication? I personally think if you compare apple to apple academically for a lot of major, like traditional majors, I think Berkeley is strong. So why students go to UCLA? Why UCLA is so hard to get in? UCLA is it's first many parents and the students have a perception UCLA is much safer than UC Berkeley. So UC Berkeley had People's Park. The situation has completely changed. The People's Park is gone. It's nice building now. So if you come to UC Berkeley, if you go to UCLA, you can see the vibes. I don't think you'll get the vibe like UC Berkeley is that bad. There are still a few friendly homeless, but they're friendly. I don't think there's an issue. So that's a really good perception about the safety. The second thing, the truly thing is UCLA's dining is much more superb. I tried to work with UC Berkeley dining. For some reason, UC Berkeley just can't improve. I'm going to meet with the dining head again. We're hosting a party at their dining, right? So I think dining makes a big difference. The other thing is about the dorm. I believe, don't quote me, it's a GPT question. I think UCLA you can get 4-year dorm. I think, okay, don't quote me. UC Berkeley at this point, it's only 1 year guaranteed dorm for freshmen. And then uh, starting next year, not this year, class of 2031, I think UC Berkeley will be able to offer 2 years freshman dorm. Okay, so anecdote. Some parents would talk to me, say, "Oh, my kid is here. Should I buy a apartment or condo?" I'm not against realtors, but I'm just telling you the truth. UC Berkeley is building a lot of apartments, dorm buildings that will make the individual landlord life a little bit harder because some parents they don't care like a 2-year dorm they just want to kids they pay more the premium, right? So starting next year, so that's the dorm, the perception of the safety, and then also the dining. And that makes, and also the fourth reason is UCLA has really good sports, just like in Michigan. Cal sports is not bad, but Cal football, I'm not sure. Cal basketball, I'm not sure, right? So UCLA is very strong with the football, right? With the USC, right? So that's also a really good college experience. Okay, so I think I mentioned enough about UCLA and UC Berkeley. Okay, how Georgia Tech will talk about pre-med, talk about will let you go to medical school because it's too bad to get internship. No, too hard. No, this is all perception. This is all perception. So listen to that. We have students that did undergraduate. We have many go to medical schools. So a lot of 小红书, Reddit, there are a lot of nonsense. If I have to trust it, I think Reddit is a little bit better than 小红书. If don't, I would never read 小红书. I don't know, but uh, students are going to medical school from UC Berkeley. And there's a data. I don't remember the data. We have a lot of enrolled parents are helping our groups, and they are providing a lot of data. And I think you can find out if you GPT it, like what is the perception, a percentage of students applying for medical school and and how many get in. I know the doctoral program, like PhD, there's a public UC website. I did a graduate school talk in Chinese a couple of weeks ago, and I showed a website. You can say, hey, Berkeley PhD was accepting 78 students, like 2024, right? 2 years ago. This year, I heard they only accept five. So because of the Trump funding, right? The federal funding cut, right? Okay. So when to declare, you can declare major, it's up to you, right? So if your students coming in with a tons of APs, basically you basically a junior status, you are meeting that requirements for the general education, right? You could graduate from UC Berkeley or UC San Diego, UCLA 2 or 3 years, and 2.5 years or 3 years, right? So the thing is, if you want to, so let's take computer science as an example. If you want to study computer science, you need to choose. There are three required courses. So every single major, there's required prerequisite. You have to take those basic classes for you to declare that major. So for computer science, there were three classes you need to meet, and you need to get the B plus for the three average. Okay. Neuroscience. Yeah, this question, we, yeah, I helped last year between UCLA and UC Berkeley. I think I answered the question. Look at the professors. Look at the professors. I'm gonna go mute. Look at the professors for the neuroscience, and look at the professors that specific field that it's interest to you. And we are actually collaborating with a neuroscience professor at UCSD. UCSD is wonderful for neuroscience, right? But you here you have out of state. I don't know whether that money is an issue or whether you are from Canada. But I think we have your students to research the neuroscience professor publication. If the students 100% sure that's the neuroscience that they're going to go in, and also the labs, which lab the student can do the work, right? I was at the University of Pittsburgh, right? It's a great program, very good program. And the students is freshman, so he found a little bit difficult because he needs to get a prerequisite taking a neuroscience class before he works in the lab. In addition, my son mentioned that probably also the computing background will help to get some research in life science lab. Okay, EE or robotics, the major JHU. Yeah. So before everybody drop, some students and question answered. I would strong help it will help to give us a good review if you like our free Zoom. So I'm gonna go get hold on. I'm gonna get give me 1 second. Okay, copy and paste. Okay, hopefully you can give us a really good review, okay, as a free Zoom session. And then going back to the next question is EE or robotics major. Columbia. I would choose Columbia. Yeah, choose unless your student's very interested in life science. It's a purely EE or robotics. I would choose Columbia. Okay. And but if you want to do something application in the life science, then I would choose JHU. Okay. How would college life differ between Columbia and UPenn? How about, yeah, I mean, this is completely different, right? So the Columbia's in New York, right? New York's very expensive. So Philadelphia, it's good. I like UPenn, but some portion of Philadelphia is, just like there are also good area and bad area. I don't have any preference for pre-med. I think Columbia, I think school is harder in Columbia, but that's my perception. UPenn people may not agree. Okay. So I think this is a campus visit for you guys. I mean, this is both great schools and the flexibility of both schools and what they offer for pre-med support. But I really like Columbia. I think Columbia it it can I think it's a challenging school. It's not easy. So if your kid is very good, like really with good schools, with good with study, go to Columbia, right? Okay, then the Georgia Tech, CS, JHU, UCSD, UCLA, computer. I don't know what your student want to study. So for the Georgia Tech, right? If you students want to study more of the bio area, then I would go to looking at UCLA, right? UCLA, yeah. And but if it's a purely computer science, Georgia Tech computer science is very, very, very good. UCB, you can come in the College of Environment Engineering, but you absolutely you can double major in computer science. This one, I'm very sure. Anybody who want to double major in computer science at UC Berkeley, they can always do it. Okay, so hopefully I answer your question. A lot of student double major is easy to get all the courses. Yeah, you can. You can. You just have to. My son. I didn't know my son has a 4-year plan. Like he keeps changing his 4-year plan. I met the Pittsburgh student, and he had a 4-year. I did not know my son had a 4-year, but I guess those students are all very studious. They are all good students, so they have the 4-year plan, right? But my son's 4-year plan falling out of it's falling out of place because he did not want to study computer science anymore. So no matter how much 4 year people change their mind, okay? Yeah, it's fine, no problem, right? Double major is no issue. I tell you, double major at UC Berkeley is no issue at all, right? Yeah, but don't say the second major is coming from college engineer. That might be an issue. But if you're letter science and you double major CDSS, should be fine, no problem. Okay. How many students from math major go for PhD? Yeah, there are quite a few. I don't know how many. My son there are 4 of them. I call them gang of 4. Gang of 4, 4人帮, like 4 of them, and they all live together. They're great friends, and they all apply. They all got into great program, and there are other kids as well. So quite a few, right? Go for math, go for PhD. Only one got in. Only one, right? So this year they admitted 5. One from MIT, Harvard, Stanford, I don't know, or Princeton, maybe, I don't know. But one from Alabama State and one from UC Berkeley. And you will meet the UC Berkeley student tomorrow. The program called tomorrow is called Why Berkeley, Why Not Berkeley? It's me being a facilitator. It's questions, right? Okay, so I share the review. Please do give us a good review. I would really appreciate it. Will really support us, right? And the follow-up question is, what do students, very good question. So I'm glad some students stay here. Now dropped to around 60. I tell you, one thing is like, oh, my students study so hard in college, in high school, got here, I want them to relax. If you really want to be ahead, it's really hard to relax during the summer. You can relax, go travel the first year, then the second year, do something else. And by the third year, like, okay, where's my intern and where's my job? So no matter what, if you want to pursue advanced studies, like, mainly PhD, MD, PhD, medical doctor too, right? Law school, some, right? Law school, a little bit less, right? But those directly after, Medical school, I say you would take a gap year for sure, 100%. PhD, most of them will go direct. Okay. I you and if you want to get an intern, a paid intern or return offer, say from Meta or some, Google, you really need to start summer one. You need to start high school and between the college. I'm not here selling you anxiety. I'm not the person who promote anxiety. But if a student gets ahead through the internship, real-time work experience, working with college professor, research, the kid will get ahead. So the summer, that the first summer, either do research, go for internship, go study abroad. A lot of them will do academic related. Of course, if you want to do medical school, you can go and volunteer, say in Africa, right? Is something. If you go law school, you can go work for a senator, right? So yes, you will have to utilize your summer. My sons, every single summer is utilized. That's what made him where he is. He's able to get a really good programs in the PhD, even though he kind of wasted 2.5 years in computer science. I wouldn't say wasted. There's no experience wasted, but those experience for helping the PhD probably not as relevant if he were doing, math programs. But with all said, yes, summer is very important. For pre-med track, is UCLA better than Purdue? Oh, are you out of state? Mm. Mm. If you go to Lilly Scholar, I can tell you, we have students got UVA Jefferson scholarship, and this student has many offers, including MIT. And I'm meeting the students next week. We're going to talk about it. So some of the programs, scholar programs, are really, really wonderful. So not all students chase after the name. They want the substances. UVA's UVA Jefferson is a top program. Okay. So they are even considering and giving up all the Ivy League and Ivy Plus, including MIT offer. Possible. We don't know yet, right? So, but that's students' choice, right? So this your students, you need to think about it, about Purdue Lilly Scholar. I would go visit. A lot of programs give you a lot of perks, and maybe you can be a big fish. Purdue is not a small school, but I think that perks is worth for you to consider. Okay, which school would you choose? UC Berkeley, computer science, UCSD, Vanderbilt, tech related. Oh, I would come to UC Berkeley computer science. It's tech related, it's no brainer, right? Why do you go to Vanderbilt? I would not go to Vanderbilt. Yeah, no, I like Vanderbilt, but yeah, I don't know. Money is an issue here, but it doesn't seem money is an issue. Even if it's in-state, even better. I would definitely, if it's tech related, I'll come to UC Berkeley, computer science, and you can double major, go to life science, and just pick, say, a psychology, a bio, and combine them. You know what I mean? So CS is more become a tool. So you double major in CS. Yeah, you can. No issue, no issue, no issue, no issue. Environmental science or University of Michigan, engineering undeclared. UCB? Yeah. We talk about engineering. Yeah. Okay, so this is a little bit tricky. If you really want to study engineering and you're in University of Michigan engineering and College of Engineering, it's a really, really, really good offer because University of Michigan is very strong. Consider it, money is not an issue. If you're in the, in state, it's a no-brainer. I would come. I personally wouldn't go out of state to go to Michigan, right? Because you can do a lot of things at Berkeley as well. The only thing probably not doing like, transfer to College of Engineering. But if money is not an issue, I would strongly consider University of Michigan and go blue. I'm also alumni, even though I didn't finish the program. How best to use the summer before the freshman? Yeah, so for our counseling students, we support online internship. Like we're building agents this summer because the agent is the most popular, right? But this is really only for our own company. But we do have public resources that I shared, right? For if you want to depend on whether you're AI or not. But I would definitely explore the interest in your area. Like, if you are in, say, computer science, building some projects, if you're in, life science, maybe go, do some internship in community service in hospital. I mean, you can always relax. I'm not selling anxiety. Relaxing this summer is completely okay. But if you want to get something done, I think it's good. And then read a lot of books. By the time you come to college, you won't have much time to read very interesting books. So I would always ask kids to read books, right? So, and then the other one is humanities major. Ah, this is very, yeah, we have students go into Smith Stride Scholar. Seriously. This is Smith is a really good school. It's absolutely good school. A lot of students we have there in Smith, they are very, very, very happy. Smaller class, we had students in public school with my son and just did not like the math and never really liked the math and now become a math major at Smith and now moving to architecture and going to apply for architecture degree. So this is going to be a decision for your student. Take her to both schools and let her decide. I personally like both, but the vibe is very, very, very different. Very different. Smith, so liberal arts college, it's really good. Small liberal arts college, they are very into teaching. So liberal arts college is very good in undergraduate education. The big research universities, it's really for graduate school. They're famous. Harvard's famous because the graduate school. CMU has more graduate school students than undergraduate school students. Okay. And I just found out by, through this visit. So depend on what your student want. Okay. How about Berkeley Summer Edge program in person or online? I personally have not applied and, I don't have any experience with that. You probably have to Google it. I don't know. Maybe you can ask the parents in the group if you're in my group. Can AP, yes. So absolutely. I think my son transferred about 50 something credits. So that's a good thing. Look, one thing is like we're very concerned about mental health in high school because the kids, like my older son took 16 APs. This is a crazy number of APs, right? I mean, he was okay. He had a bunch of Bs. He wasn't stressed out. He was the last person to get stressed out, okay? But I have other students, they are stressed out because they feel like, okay, I have to take 10. My friends are taking 15, 13 APs. This is really, really bad. I do not like College Board. But from money wise, the AP credits, if you get the 4, above, some the trade-ins, that your student coming in pretty much with junior status, your student can graduate from UC Berkeley, 2.5 years. Some families, they are financially tight. And it's not the tuition in state, it's the room and board and living costs in California. So those are really good. So yeah, you have your students go research and what AP credits can be exchanged. A lot of information is detailed on each school's website very, very clearly. But if you use this AP credits and go to a private school, sometimes it's difficult to get all the credits, right? They would want you to retake some of the classes. And I know that, for Cornell, it's not as easy to take those AP credits like UCs, okay? Any other questions? Okay, we're good? That's it. I'm about 30 minutes. I always extend. I put a review one more time. I really appreciate you can give us a great review if you enjoy our sharing and Q&A tomorrow and you register for why Berkeley, why not Berkeley. We will meet 5 UC Berkeley students. So that session is really for admitted students for Berkeley, but students who are interested in attending Berkeley in the future, they can join as well. Okay, I have one more question. Data science major highly competitive with freshman rates, blah, 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 blah. It is. The basically not all students want to transfer. We have observed that anybody who want to double major CS and DS, they are able to. I'm just telling you. I have not seen students fail. Most students don't do it. Okay, most students don't do it. Yeah, it's your own willingness and desire make your college experience. Okay, so thank you for joining, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye. Okay.